Hi guys, so I'm on my fourth video and I'm sorry it's taken so long. I've just been really busy with work, so I haven't had the time to do it. I'm going to try and do more as I have a little bit more free time over the next few months. But today I wanted to talk a bit about a topic that I've been thinking of a lot lately, and that's a more positive one than I think some of my last videos. I think that a lot of times you can get kind of caught up in the difficulties of being a transsexual and the difficulties of transition, and we forget to be thankful for the unique experience that we're having and the benefits that it can provide, because there definitely are some. And some of them are really significant. So these are the reasons that I appreciate being a transsexual. The first is that I get to experience uh, life from a male and a female perspective in terms of how I live in society. So I get to see in a really real way how each gender is treated, what's expected of them in terms of look, behavior, the amount that we play up different aspects of gender, masculinity or femininity, the difficulties that men face versus the difficulties that women face in interactions with each other and interactions with their own gender. Also, the differences in male and female sexual intimacy and behavior in relationship and gender roles in relationships. All of these things I've, I've been given kind of a new perspective on, one that I would have never had if I wasn't a transsexual. And I find them very valuable because it really gives me insight into the motivations for certain types of behaviors of men and women. And that's been really cool, I think. The second is the ability to have a perspective from both a privileged and a marginalized place. So for me as a male to female transsexual, I grew up, almost the entirety of my life as a white male with white male privilege. Uh, and when you grow up that way, even if you're a good person, I think that as someone who didn't have to experience discrimination prior to transitioning, it was easier to not acknowledge its effects or to the degree to which it exists. And though it can be difficult to face as a transsexual now, I think understanding sort of what it's like to be in a marginalized group has been enlightening in its own way and given me an important insight into the type of person that I would like to be, which really requires thinking much more about what privilege means and the difficulties that minority groups or marginalized groups go through, no matter what no matter what the reason is for them being in that group. The third one is the ability to find out who your true friends are. I think this was actually one of the best things, although it initially seems like one of the hardest things, because coming out I think is one of the hardest parts of transition. It has huge benefit, and I'm pretty much out to everybody now. There are a few people, like maybe 5 people in my life, who don't know out of everyone. But all of the people who are really important in my life know. And as I've continued to come out, it's gotten easier and easier each time, and it's almost gotten to a place where I kind of like coming out, um, because it gives me really, really good insight into the type of friend that person is. Um, your true friends who will be there to support you it'll be very obvious to you, I think, that whether or not they're going to be supportive, and they'll show you love. Mine have shown me love in some really incredible ways, and I know I've been very fortunate to have had friendships with people who are accepting and loving pretty much no matter what, but I'm not sure if I ever realized the degree to which they were my friends until I came out to them. It also has the benefit of making them feel more connected to you when you share something so personal. Uh, I think a lot of people can't help but feel more connected, and a lot of times they'll want to share something really personal with you, and that's happened quite a few times with the friends that I've come out to. So overall, it's been hugely beneficial to me and to understanding the true value of my friendships and the strength of them. Number four, uh, transitioning forces you to grow in ways additional to your gender transition. So I guess the first and biggest one is really self-understanding and self-knowledge. It took me really years of kind of just being in my own head and thinking critically about why I felt certain ways and why I did certain things, and how I interacted with other people to finally come to the conclusions that I came to about being transgendered and deciding to transition. So I don't know if everybody has the opportunity to really examine themselves as closely as I think a lot of transgender people uh, ultimately need to do in order to come to the conclusions that will allow them to kind of make a move with it. But I feel very lucky for that. A second part to that is self-confidence. So in some ways, transitioning can be a blow to your self-confidence, especially maybe in how you look when you're in the transitional stages. But uh, you will start to feel so much more confident overall, and part of that's just becoming the person you always wanted to be and not feeling like you're pretending anymore. But the other part of it is that you realize that you have the ability to stand up to difficulties in your life and overcome them, and not be beaten back by them. And gaining this perspective and this knowledge that you have the ability to overcome difficulties in your life is hugely beneficial, not only to your transition or in being a transsexual, but it extends to every other area of your life too. So you'll feel more confident in whatever it is, in school, in business, in your relationships, all of it. That's been my experience, and the more brave things I've done and the more fears I've faced, the stronger that feeling has become. And it's not something that goes away. It's something that will be with you forever. The fifth one is kind of a broader one, but it's one that I feel pretty strongly about. I really feel that transgender people are pioneers in a certain way. We're kind of the first transhumanists. We're paving the way in some regard for what's to come. In the modern age of hormones and surgery, we're the first generation of our kind to finally know the joy of complete transformation, of really gaining our true rightful bodies. No other transsexuals in history have been that fortunate. By being brave now, we're also leaving an amazing legacy for those behind us, to live in a world where they can live happy, incredible lives. And you've seen this with the gay communities. The reason that public opinion has shifted so quickly on gay people is because of the number of gay people who have been brave enough to come out. It's sort of been like this. It reached like this tipping point where it's becoming more acceptable, and so more gay people are coming out. And the same thing will happen with transsexuals or transgendered people. The more trans people who can be brave about being honest about who they are, the more other people will be able to do the same. And you'll see an accelerating effect, and you already are seeing it in a lot of ways. So to me, that's really exciting and a huge benefit. So I kind of want to end this with a quote. This is from Jennifer Reitz, or Wrights, transsexual.org. I found this when I was kind of coming up with this topic, and I really loved this quote, so I want to read it at the end. It goes, "We are shocked into waking up. If we allow it to create a life we create for ourselves, we are not automatically doomed to sleepwalk through life. Our compensations are real and our lives are special. We have but to grasp the gifts that are born of our suffering. When I look around me at the mundane lives, there are times that I think maybe I'm glad I was born a transsexual, for I would never have been what I have become without that curse. I cannot help but be grateful for my uniqueness, so I'm brought to a strange revelation. Deep down, I cherish being born a transsexual." Alright, guys. Bye.